What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. Today we're going to be seeing Yubel on the left side here, one of the big bad meta decks of the format, going up against Mimighoul. This is going to be post-Roto. We're going to be seeing Lacrimas in the Yubel deck. We're also going to be seeing all the new Mimighoul cards. We are going to be learning some of them together, so stay tuned for that. I might get some of these cards wrong on the Mimighoul side. I am still learning of the deck. The deck's absolutely crazy. This deck's just going insane here. Going to be having some really good cards that they ended up getting. We are going to see Yubel going to be starting first with a normal summon of a Dark Beckoning Beast. Before we dive on in too deep, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel a lot. We're on the 10K and we guys support to get there. We are going to be seeing them search for the gates, and then gates going to get activated searching for another copy of Dark Beckoning Beast. We could potentially normal summon that out, or getting the search for a Samsardi Lotus, which we do have in the hand, which can then get activated the effect of summoning out the Spirit of Yubel, which can then summon or set, or search or set the Nightmare Pain here. We're going to be seeing them set it onto the side of the field, then activate it right away, activating the effect of destroying the spirit to summon out, or search out for the Squirmer, and then we're going to activate the effect of the spirit to summon out that Yubel here. So now we can have an immediate access to Phantom if we want to, or we can even just link away, need be. So we're going to see Squirmer and the Beast being known in the hand. They have two other unknowns here. We're then going to be seeing them link away those two for maybe potentially a Moon, and then go into the Fiendsmith package, or a Yubel, or a Yama. We're going to see the Yama being made, and then they're going to be able to search for that Shavara. We do see them ask to read the Phantom. Obviously, you know it's in their extra deck. We see the Shavara being added to the hand. We have a Veiler as well. And they're reading the Spirit. Okay. We're going to be seeing the Squirmer being, or they're asking what the Squirmer. Okay. Yeah, they have two different ways of popping here. We're going to see them put back the Yubel as well as the Beast to go up into a Phantom. And now we could just activate the effect of discarding if we want to summon out the Spirit, right? We'll see the Squirmer summoning himself out. And then we're going to link up into a Rage or the Moon here. So now we're going to go Moon for the Requiem. Requiem's going to activate the effect. And this is going to allow us to set up a Desiree or a Caesar prior to even popping with the Shavara popping that Spirit that we summon back out. We're going to see a Nightmare Throne going to be activated as well, so we're revealing more cards out of their hand. And it's going to destroy the Spirit. Spirit can then summon out a Yubel of its own, and now we have both Spirits in the graveyard. We see them link those two away for a sequence, and we only have we have three lights. Okay, so we're going to go up into the Desiree here. And putting it into an Anima zone is very interesting. I personally would not put it in a zone like that myself, because we are playing Anima in the Mimighoul deck. They are all level 1s, other than Master, so I personally wouldn't do that myself, but we're going to be seeing the gates then discard to summon out the Spirit, and then we're going to be able to destroy the Shavara, or destroy Spirits with Shavara, and then Spirit's going to activate the effect something with the Yubel. And we have a bunch of stuff we can do, these Shavara is going to also be able to be linked away, and we're going to be also chaining the Yama to summon out the Spirit, and then we link up into the second Yama, which is then going to be able to trigger the Shavara setting the escape. We are playing the two Yama now. We can go up into an XYZ, and we don't have access to... I was going to say, we don't have access to a Rage yet, but we can just banish the Squirmer to summon out the Spirit. Then we're going to go up into the Rage once again. But the problem with this is that we don't actually have a Spirit in deck unless we're playing 3. So we see the sequence going to be attaching to the Desiree. And we're just going to pass turn on that. So we have Phantom, Desiree, Rage, or Escape. And then the Rage. And we have a Yama in the graveyard as well as a Verugis. So we have essentially two Omni Negates, a Pop and a Steal, as well as a Monster Negate on the field. Now they have gone uninterrupted, as well as a Veiler in the hand, and then one unknown, I do believe, which is pretty good. This board's going to be pretty hard to beat for Mimighoul, but if they can crack it, I'm going to be quite surprised and very impressed. You know, unfortunately, Desiree can actually book or can negate our cards as well. So if we just gave them a dragon, like, or to be normal summon the Mimighoul dragon, activating the effect, which can allow us to search. But if we would have gave them a dragon, like they can just negate their own dragon with the Desiree, which is pretty important. You know, a lot of decks cannot do that. So you'll see the board essentially get all entirely wiped. Now we're going to activate the effect of the dungeon. They do Ash that there. So they have Ash Veiler. So we have, you know, Ash, Veiler, Desiree, Verudris, Phantom, Escape, and Rage there. Pretty powerful, you know, almost having enough interactions for every single one of those. And we do go up into the Relinquished, attempting to take the Rage here, rather than that copy of Desiree, interestingly enough. We're then going to see the Escape going to be forced to be chained, targeting and popping the itself as well as Dungeon. And then we're going to be seeing the Yama be able to bring back out. And we're going to see the Shavara adding that Shavara, or the Rage adding back the Shavara to the hand here. And then we try to go Druid Swarm on the Rage. They chain the Phantom, destroying a Tear from the deck. Essentially just being a monster negate and nothing else. And now we still have that Verudris as a Omni negate, as well as the Desiree as a spot negate. We're going to be seeing the Mimighoul Slime going to be activated, attempting to summon itself out to our side of the field, but I didn't think we could do that, can we? I'm going to take a second to read the new guy here. It says, during the main phase, apply one of these effects. During the main phase, put summon the card to your hand, to your opponent's side of the field, or if you control more monsters than you do, which they definitely do, you can summon it to your side of the field. And then we can do the same with armor, I believe. Or if they control a monster for armor, they summon it to our side of the field. So here we're going to go Rage up into an SP, which is going to then banish the Slime from the field, allowing them to have to commit to one more level 1 to go up into an XYZ. We do activate Maker here, and they do chain the Desiree, negating both of those cards, and we just scoop it up there. I mean, to be honest, the only card that we did not play through was Verudris. So we kind of played through almost all of those, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, Mimighoul had a huge push there, obviously all engine, and then the Jerusalem as well, which I'm going to be assuming they drew for turn because they would have activated it prior, but it's almost crazy how they did make that push where a lot of decks would have just had to admit defeat pretty instantly. Like, you know, if we were playing Melodious or even Tempai, they wouldn't have had any chance other than if they would have opened those board breaker cards like Raigeki, Lightning Storm, or stuff like that, being able to play through it. But Mimighoul looked like they were doing pretty decent there. You know, having the Ash in hand would have hurt them as well. If we didn't have the Ash in hand, which is kind of like an unknown factor, we would have potentially seen like the Verudris or the Desiree negate that, and then we could have seen Maker resolve potentially, which can be very devastating. You know, especially if we give them a copy of Dragon, flipping up their board and destroying it all. But dive on to game 2, Mimighoul will be able to go first here, and this could be quite devastating, especially with the dungeon on the field. You know, if we just give our opponent a face down card, it kind of forces them to flip it face up before they even commit to anything else. We're going to be seeing a special summon out of the Unicorn, which is then now, if we activate any monster effects, we're going to be able to rip their extra deck. And when you're playing those Fiend with cards, ripping your extra deck can be quite crucial. You know, say goodbye to Requiem or even your Sequence there, which is going to be making the fusions quite more difficult. You know, you can actually make the fusion if you do decide to play really weirdly. If you have like Track can actually fuse you during the field, but like you never really want to do that, and it just feels like so much work to go for. We do activate Dungeon, which is now going to be another form of interruption with our opponent, and the search for a fairy here. We activate the Cerberus. We are still playing Cerberus. I know a lot of players are choosing not to play it, but then we normal summon out the Archfiend, activating the effect, trying to flip up that Cerberus, banishing 3 of their extra deck here. We're going to call this the Runic card. They flip it up and they activate, banishing a Shavara, Samsara, the Lotus, and the the engraver here. That's huge. And we do pick up the Shavara, making sure that if we do special summon out, we're not fiend locked. Very important. That would be crazy if it was that way. But getting rid of an engraver as well as some Sardi Lotus is pretty crucial. You know, when that Shavara does hit the graveyard, they are going to activate the effect. Chances are they decided out going second, but still could be potentially an opportunity. We see a Mourner and a Veiler as well in the hand. But holding those hand traps because they don't want to get their extra deck ripped with that Unicorn. We are going to be seeing a special summon out of the Throne. The Throne can bring out the Maker from the deck, which is going to be a card that does a lot. Searches as well as can flip up during their opponent's turn. We see the effect going to be activated, and they choose to Veiler this. And then we are going to Unicorn, ripping the extra deck. And now we get to see the entire extra deck for the Yubel player. You know, double Yama. It's almost everything that you expect. We see double Spirit. And is that... Okay, no, that's Verugis and Caesar here. So we see SP, Muckraker, a double Yama, a Rage, Sequence, Underworld Goddess, Baby. And then we see Requiem as well as... We do take the Requiem there, leaving the Sequence, interestingly enough. Okay. I wonder what the second rip is going to be. Potentially a Phantom. You know, we're going to be linking away, going for the IP, and we have Birth in the hand, so we can bring back that Unicorn at any point. We do see the Mimighoul Fairy going to be placed on their side of the field. And I don't even know what this one does. But then we activate Birth to summon out that Unicorn. And we just set one card and pass turn on this. So we just ripped the card out of their extra deck and then banished part of their deck there. Hitting us some Sardi Lotus can be actually kind of crazy in this matchup. You know, making their consistency significantly down. And knowing they don't have it in the deck. We can also see Birth if they activate any spells. You know, if we banish any of their Yubels in the graveyard, it can be really crucial in the grind game. We're going to see the Fairy being flipped face up. You know, they have to normal summon. You know, they have to flip it face up to be able to normal summon, which is kind of important. So they see to not really have anything else they can really do. And we banish the Sequence there with that Mimighoul, or with the Unicorn after we flip the Mimighoul. So we see a Gates, the one of, by the way, being able to search here for a Dark Beckoning Beast. And crazy, this card has to be normal summoned. So when we have a face-down Mimighoul monster, we can't actually resolve this. So then we normal summon a a Dark Beckoning Beast, which does not activate the effect, because we normal summon out another copy of it. And then we're going to activate the IP here, going up into, I'm going to assume an SP, which can then banish one of the Beckoning Beasts. Making them kind of have to have another card here, and they can, yeah, they're chain link. They're going to be the turn player here, so they have to go on summon a Mourner, and they just chain link to the SP. But yeah, they're turn player, so they have to banish the Mourner. So it's going to resolve here. Now they cannot go chain link to a banish. I mean, that can be kind of nice, but we're just going to see them go battle phase attack, take the 16, and then activate the Gates, sending it to the graveyard, just so that they can summon out that Spirit there. Spirits will then be able to set a Nightmare Pain. We have an Imperm for that, and that means no Nightmare Pain for us. Yeah, that's going to be just an admit defeat from Yubel, and moving on into Game 3. I mean, having to crash and then summon out your Spirit because you don't control a 0/0 in the graveyard is definitely very rough. But honestly, Mimighoul kind of cooks. Mimighoul Dungeon is an insane card. When you look at, you know, different targets you can hit, it just cooks Flannery. You know, not being able to normal summon is just kind of crucial. And having to flip it face up and getting the effects, you know, you kind of hope that you have Cerberus. But like, if you can just keep giving them a face down Mimighoul monster, they're going to be in quite a lot of trouble. And then we also see Yubel, you know, a lot of the times they're going to have to use that normal summon, whether it being a Samsardi Lotus or a Dark Beckoning Beast, to kind of get into their engine. You know, I guess you can kind of hope for you can just go into a Fiendsmith line, but even then, you have to open up like an engraver, which is kind of hard, especially when you're going up in like unicorns, being able to rip your requiems or your sequence. You're not going to be able to do the combo like you want to. And like almost every other deck, like Fire King, even Memento, not having your normal, having to forcefully flip up that Mimighoul monster is just very, very crucial. Imagine not being able to normal summon Snake Eyes Ash, or else you end up losing your deck. And if you lose an OSS, it's going to be kind of hard. You're going to have to hope that you have a Wanted in the graveyard to be able to put it back into the deck to search it later on. But diving on to Game 3, we are going to be seeing Yubel going to be able to choose who's going to go first or second. Obviously going to go first in a going first format. We see a throne going to be activated there, which is going to allow us to search or destroy, depending on which one's going to be more useful. We're going to see a search for a Samsara D Lotus. Nothing on resolution, so we're going to normal summon out the Lotus right away. And we're going to just impermanent on the summon. This is going to make it very hard for us to be able to continue. So instead they choose to go up into a Phantom with a hard bricked Yubel in hand. Now this is not going to be that bad against any other deck. They have Nib in the hand. So having a Monster Gate and a face down is not too horrible. A lot of decks would have to just pass on that, but it is what it is. Not the greatest opening for Yubel. Now, moving on back to the Mimighoul player, we're going to start off with another dungeon once again. Field spells are crazy. But then again, when haven't they been? We see that search for a dragon. And now it's time to start the combo. We're going to normal summon dragon, which is another card that searches. So it looks like Droll is going to be pretty good against this deck, if you guys have not realized it yet. We might see a little bit of a resurgence of Droll in the format. But we do see an imperm on that Mimighoul dragon there, making us not able to search for what I'm going to be assuming is going to be a maker. And yeah, if the Phantom is destroyed, or, if we destroy a level 10 from the deck, we are going to be able to search and special summon out the Terror Incarnate. We do set one card, and that looks like it's going to be it from us. Now they are thinking, okay, so they just set one, and we're going to link away for an Anima here. And just pass turn on that. I wonder why they linked away for the Anima. We're just going to pass on that. We can't do anything else if we don't have any cards. So we're going to be seeing Mimighoul now going to be handed the reins once again. We can add back with Dungeon the dragon from the graveyard, which can normal summon it, activating the effect once again, and will we see something from that? Or else we're going to be able to start searching. They're debating if they want to Phantom it. They're going to let it resolve, searching for that Maker. They have a Veiler in the hand as well. So we see Maker now resolving, going to be activating its effects, giving our opponent a face down Mimighoul monster here. We see the Cerberus as well as, or Archfiend as well as the Fairy being placed. And they end up getting the Cerberus, which now we can summon out a Mimighoul monster from our hand if we want with Maker. And it looks like we are choosing to, going for that Fairy. And now our opponent can't normal summon, which is going to be pretty important for them. We XYZ up into either Throne or Giant. We're going for the Giant Mimighoul. And this card is absolutely crazy. It is consistency, being able to search. It is removal, being able to remove 2 cards off the field, as well as a time card, burning for 1,000. So they hit that with a Mourner on summon, justifiably. This card is absolutely insane. I don't know why they thought this card was okay. This card's, honestly just insane. It also lets their Mimighoul monsters attack directly, I think. Or that might be Throne, I'm not too sure. But we're going to be seeing what I believe was Slime going to be activated, placing itself face down. And it looks like just a pass. on that, which they are going to activate Nib now because they are under 5 summons, being able to summon the monsters face down. And they're not going to be tributed because Nib only tributes face up monsters, so they're still going to have those Mimighoul monsters face down, as well as we're going to be burning with the giant Mimighoul because of the Mourner there. And we're going to activate the Throne effect, and they do chain a Ghost Ogre here to that Throne. Probably not the card we were looking to Ghost Ogre, but still quite good. We see a Baldrake going to be banishing the Phantom. And now we can link up into a Donner. Donner's going to destroy the Nibiru and pass turn on that, leaving one card in their hand, and they face down as well, which I do assume is going to be Room. And Dungeon is going to be crazy. You're going to be able to add back next turn if we don't have a way to solve this. And we don't. We just pass on that. That is crazy. We're going to activate Dungeon. They're going to Ash that. And I mean, they're going to have to set another card and just pass turn there. We're going to pass again after we set and we activate the Dungeon. They Ash it. They normal summon Dragon. They imperm this. And wow, they're almost out of hand traps here. They're going to be top decking now, and they're not going to be able to normal summon at all without flipping those face-up monsters. We see them pass turn once again, and we can now activate the Dungeon to add back the second Dragon. Dragon's going to be able to normal summon himself out, and finally resolving. Wow. I mean, Ashing Dungeon 2 times, in 2 turns, and like under 30 seconds there. They go pass, pass, draw, draw, pass. Like crazy. And we see Mimighoul Maker going to be activating the effect, giving them either a Cerberus or a armor. And they end up getting the armor. This is the card you do not want to have. And they especially note the Cerberus going to activate the Archfiend, activating the effect, making them flip up the Slime. Slime is then going to activate, allowing us... Doesn't search again, does it? It special summons a Mimighoul monster from their deck. And that's going to let us summon out the Master here. And Master will let us search for another Cerberus. I keep saying Cerberus, but it's Archfiend. It keeps summoning Archfiend. And then we're going to go up into another giant Mimighoul, which can activate the effect searching for a room here. And I don't know about you, but these Mimighoul monsters kind of control the whole room. We're going to go battle phase, and the Mimighoul monsters get to attack directly. So they're dealing a shit ton of damage here. Especially one of the dragons is 25. So that is going to be quite a bit. We set another card, which is going to be the Mimighoul Room. And we just overlay for another Throne here. Throne is going to be a form of a bounce as well, being able to attach to the Maker and bouncing 2 cards. So pretty good overall. We have lots of power here, and we end up activating a Nightmare Throne. They're going to activate the effect, which is going to just bounce that back to the hand because they only can activate it once per turn, and essentially going to be negating that Throne there. And with that, they realize the game is going to be over because they're going to be able to they're going to be able to go battle phase and just attack directly for turn. And we see Mimighoul end up taking the win here against Yubel, forcing them out of normal summoning as well as having those hand traps in the hand. That's going to be kind of a problem when you are playing so many hand traps in your deck, but it is unfortunately the nature of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon has their energies, Magic has their lands, and we have our hand traps. Regardless, hope you enjoyed watching the video. If you guys want to see any more content like this, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.